I don't know why everybody's so shocked and appalled by Jason Kidd and his actions as he jumped ship from the Brooklyn Nets and becoming the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. Yes, the man has a Hall of Fame type career in the NBA on the court. But off the court, if you look through his track history, he has a lot of fishy stuff. And let's start it off. I'm going to go through it. Let's start off when he got drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. He got into it with the head coach at that time, Jim Clemens. Then with the Phoenix Suns, he got into it with Scott Skiles, and that's been publicly noted. Then with the New Jersey Nets, he got into it with Byron Scott, and they were winning. He also got into it with Avery Johnson. They won the championship. They wanted to resign him. Mark Cuban wanted to resign him. Jason Kidd said, yes, I verbally agree to you. And then he did some snake stuff and then signed with the New York Knicks. Mark Cuban responded by saying he would never retire his jersey ever in his arena. So he's been doing this. Look, it's fair for Jason Kidd to ask for more money. Yes, he did an okay job. First time head coach, leading the playoff team. They did pretty good for him. He did good. And he's looking at Derek Fisher and he's looking at Steve Kerr, saw the type of contract and money that they was getting. He said, hey, I deserve more money. That's fair to ask, like, look, can I get a raise? That's fair. But the Nets are not going to do that because there's been a report that the Nets lost $144 million last season. But Jason Kidd didn't like that answer. He wanted to do something else. He wanted power then. Give me power over Billy King. I want him out. But they said no. And this is the same Billy King that had Jason Kidd's back during when the Nets were struggling in the early season and the whole Sodagate scandal. He did it privately and publicly, defended Jason Kidd. And what Jason Kidd do? He stabs him in the back. Not only did he stab him in the back by jumping from the Nets to the Bucks, he stabbed the Brooklyn fans, Billy King, his coaching staff, now the Bucks coaching staff, and eventually he's probably going to become team president of the Milwaukee Bucks, so that means he's going to stab the Bucks coaching staff, like I said, and the GM, John Hammonds. And he's done this before. He got into it with his longtime friend that he said, his buddy that he hired as the top assistant for him, Lawrence Frank. What did he do? Got into a riff with him, didn't like what he was saying. They got rid of him. Billy King always had his back. And Billy King did say, look, this is business and not personal. Classy way of handling Billy King, because if it was me, I would have just went all out and say, look, this is business and not personal, but hey, this is what I think of Jason Kidd. And he should have went off because, hey, Jason Kidd's going to be a little slimy. Maybe I should be slimy too, but hey, two wrongs don't make a right. This is a BS Podcast Show. I'm your host, Brandon Fryer, a.k.a.
The Fry Guys.
Just can't get over it, man. I can't get over Jason Kidd doing the Nets dirty like that. I mean, this is the Billy King and the whole Nets. They raised his jersey, retired his jersey, put it up in the rafters, and he just like jumped shift and did them bogus and go to the Bucks because he wanted more money and he wanted more power. And like, God, you just seem like an opportunist right now. And it's honestly looking like that's a whole snake thing to do in the whole NBA coaching circle and the whole NBA circle. I mean, even when he got hired by the Milwaukee Bucks, there's already been a poll in the Milwaukee paper where it's 2/3 of Milwaukee fans disapprove of the Jason Kidd hire. Even though Larry Drew and the Bucks only had 15 wins, they still disapprove of Jason Kidd's hire. And I'm fine with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. Hey, that's fine because you don't want a person like that because he might do your team bogus and kind of create a cancer in your whole coaching staff and the whole organization. You don't want him to mess up Jabari Parker, the Greek Freak, all your young promising players. You got Larry Sanders over there who's already in trouble, and you bring a coach who's like causing trouble there. That's just not a bad mix. But like I said, welcome to this edition of this BS Podcast Show. I'm your host, Brandon Fryer, a.k.a. The Fry Guy. Got the homie Mike here in the building. We got a great show for y'all, man. We're going to talk some NBA, a little soccer. Got a question for y'all. Yo-ish. Halftime. We got a good show for y'all. But before we get into any of that, let's get you caught up with this BS update. Get you caught up in the news this week. And let's start off in the NFL because there's been a report that Bills linebacker Kurt Alonso might have a torn ACL. Ex-quarterback, NFL quarterback of that matter, Kevin Kolb was arrested for intoxicating on his boat. The Cowboys acquired linebacker Ronaldo McClain. He's retired twice so far in the month of April. That is just crazy. Left tackle of the Eagles, Lane Johnson, could be facing a suspension due to the fact he violated the drug policy, so stay in tune with that. In the MLB, the Oakland Athletics agreed to a 10-year lease extension with the Oakland Coliseum, so they're going to be playing there for 10 more years. Look out for that. In tennis, Nadal got upset by a 19-year-old at the Wimbledon. Then Serena Williams withdraws from the Wimbledon because due to a viral illness. And then Sharapova falls in 3 sets at the Wimbledon. What's going on with the big stars in Wimbledon, man? In the NHL, the league sets a salary cap of $69 million for the 2014-2015 season. Sidney Crosby wins the Hart Trophy for the second time in his career. Florida takes Aaron Ekba as the number 1 pick in the 2014 NHL draft. Free agency is also going on, and some notable names. Jerome McGilla signs a 3-year deal with the Avs. Ryan Miller signs with the Canucks. The Senators trade Jason Spex to the Stars. And the Canucks trade Ryan Kessler to the Ducks. In the NBA, free agency is going on in there, but some trades happened before that. One is with the Raptors and the Hawks. Lewis Williams is going to go to the Raptors. John Simon's going to go with the Hawks. There's some other pieces involved with that, but those are the main 2 pieces. That clears up room for the Hawks, actually, to make a big splash in free agency. Like I said before in the beginning of the show, the Bucks and the Nets reach an agreement to make Jason Kidd the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. In exchange, the Nets get 2 second-rounders. Kyrie Irving and the Cavaliers agree to a max deal extension. The NBA is considering a July draft and a season-end award show. Zach Randolph agrees to an extension with the Grizzlies. Jameer Nelson is waived by the Orlando Magic, and Andrew Wiggins was taken with the number 1 pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2014 draft. Let's stay on this whole NBA offseason in our first quarter. All right, NBA free agency is going on, and it hasn't been too much of a big rush. A lot of signings haven't been happening because everybody's waiting on the dominoes to fall with LeBron James and maybe the big 3 and Carmelo Anthony. But there has been some moves. They've been small, but there's been some news. The first deal was Jody Meeks signing with the Pistons. I think it was a 3-year, $18 or $20 million deal. Big money for Jody Meeks. Big money. I guess he's going to be the new replacement of Ronnie Stuckey or coming off that bench as the combo guard. But that's some big money. Stan Van Gundy, I hope you know what you're doing over there. They're already interested in Isaiah Thomas, too, as well. Martin Gauthier, he is going to stay with the Wizards, which I think is a good look for him. He did say he wanted to stay. The Wizards want him back. They want to build off that season. They had a great season they had last season, so they want to build off that. Bradley Beal will probably get better. John Wall will get better. Hopefully Nene can stay healthy. They need to find a small forward. They got to hope that Ariza don't leave, but if not, you got to find somebody to replace them. Maybe a Luol Deng. And speaking of Luol Deng, they already been reports that he's been contacted by so many teams. The first was Dallas Mavericks. He's also already stated, his agent stated, Luol Deng would not take a pay cut to go to Miami. Okay, and speaking of Miami, we already know that the big 3 opt out, right? There has been reports that LeBron James wants a max deal. So Pat Riley's kind of getting this in place. LeBron takes the max. There's already been reports that Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade are doing something where they take about $10 to $12 million. Probably Bosh would take a little bit more. Maybe Wade would take a little bit less, but it might be flip-flop between them two. But they said, actually with Wade, it could be a 2 or 3 year deal for him, but it's going to be spread out like 5 years because they don't think he's going to really play that long, and he might get hurt. Injuries might get him up, but he's still going to get a nice portion, like money-wise for him, even if he doesn't play. It's like pretty much a farewell gift, kind of like a Kobe Bryant thing, but it actually protects the Miami Heat to actually make some moves. So LeBron James takes the max. Dwayne Wade takes a little less. So does Chris Bosh. This frees up room for like building around them, building a supporting cast. And some of the names, they got to look at one of them top tier ones. They got to look at a Luol Deng, Kyle Lowry. Probably, I heard names like, Steve Blake and Vince Carter and Sean Marion and, Shannon Fry. But to me, those are the type of pieces that they always do. Sign them old players. They're doing the same thing. They're taking less to help out Pat Riley. So Pat Riley, you better do something to keep this big 3 all intact. Another name that's very important in this all is Carmelo Anthony. And I'm going to get into that in our next quarter as we're going to talk about some local with the Bulls and Melo. All right, Carmelo Anthony had his first visit of free agency, and it was the Chicago Bulls. And there's already been pictures about, him with his little jersey on, and it's all around the United Center. The whole Melo on Madison hashtag is going crazy. I see it on the Twitter world. I see it on Instagram world. It is going absolutely crazy. I saw him. They showed pictures of Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, Tom Thibodeau. I guess they probably, wined and dined him, showed him the whole thing. I heard the message was that with Melo on the Bulls and how depleted the East is, they can actually compete for an NBA championship, and that's one thing they want. The key on Melo was not Derrick Rose, because Derrick Rose said his thing about, I don't like to recruit players and all that. They said Joakim Noah said, hey, D-Rose, we need this dude. You better get up and meet us in Chicago and talk to this man. But they said Melo already knew D-Rose was cool with him joining the team. Melo's thing is Taj Gibson. Now, if Melo gets his money, Taj Gibson has to go. But Melo wants Taj Gibson. He's the key to him. Because if you do that, you're depleting the team. He wants Taj. So the Bulls better make it happen. Maybe you got to give away Jimmy Butler. Who cares? Give away Jimmy Butler. Give away all them players. Your core could just be around Melo, Noah, Taj, Rose, and Doug McBuckets off your bench. And then everybody else, you can fill in some players here and there. You got Greg Smith on your team. You got Ronnie Brook, whatever. Whoever you got, make it work. But with that being said, I'm not worried now about Melo going to Miami. That was my prediction. I'm not really worried about him going there now with the big three all saying that they might stay together in Miami. I'm more now worried about the Houston Rockets, though. Though I don't think the Houston Rockets is a good fit for him, my opinion, he might stay there because, on one hand, Dwight Howard still can arguably be one of the best centers in the league, probably one of the best defensive centers in the league. And then you got James Harden, which is a guy that's been proven to be on the court, unlike Derrick Rose. But besides that, there's not really a supporting cast. And they talk about they really could keep Chandler Parsons with Melo. They got to give up somebody. I think Chandler Parsons would be gone. They got more of an enticing piece maybe that the Knicks willing to take. And another team I'm worried about with getting Melo is the Knicks. And first, I didn't even have the Knicks in my whole theory. And the reason why, Phil Jackson is showing his worth right now. And if you look at the Zen Masters move so far, being the president of the New York Knicks, you can't really argue against his moves. He wanted to get in this year's draft. That was his plan. And he did that. And he did that by unloading Raymond Felton's contract and Tyson Chandler, who he didn't want on the team anyway. And he got Clee Anthony early and the Greek Freak's brother. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to butcher it. But the fact you got like two potential first round draft prospects type talent in the second round, in the middle and late second round, that is great. And you did that by unloading Raymond Felton's contract, who is a cancer to that team, who's getting in trouble, who is the most overrated starting point guard last season in the NBA. He was out of shape. He just had personal problems. He didn't really do nothing on the court. You did that. You got some expiring contract. They're looking enticing. Like if Carmelo stays with them, he can keep his money. And then, the inspiring contracts go away. It clears some books. He could probably get a Kevin Love. He can probably get a Rajon Rondo. And who knows? Even with Melo joining that team, to me, they're still like a 6 seed. But if you add one more little piece, they're right there. They could be there. So that's kind of enticing to Melo. So for the Bulls, I'm worried about that right away. I'm like, oh no, wait a minute. Are we going to lose, Melo to the Knicks and the Rockets? I'm not worried about the Mavericks. I'm not worried about the Lakers at all. And I'm not worried about the Suns. By the way, did you hear the Suns' speech? They pretty much said, B, that they want to land LeBron James and Carmelo. We could afford you both. Yeah, also, the Sixers can't afford them both. You think they're going to go there? No. Look, the Suns is a good team, but the West is extremely hard. And I think both Melo, LeBron James, all these stars, you want to stay in the East because it's depleted. There's not really a lot of good teams there. Really, if you just make the right moves and the right, signings with your team, any team can move up to be that third team, really. Like, it's up for grabs if you look at it between Bulls, Pacers, Hawks, the Hornets. I was about to call them the Bobcats. It's up to debate, and even you can put the Heat in there, too. You really could say anybody's up for grabs. Any position, really. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's up for grabs because you don't know what to expect from the Heat. You don't know what the pace is going to be. The Bulls is still up in the air. The Hornets, they had a nice season last year, but let's see what they do this year. You know, Washington's no joke. They're going to try to build off the momentum. The Hawks, if they sign a good piece, they can build. It's a lot of teams in the East. It's very depleted. Anybody can really it's up for the taking. It really is. Even teams who wasn't in the playoffs can jump in and get that middle portion in the East. That's how bad the East is. The West is extremely hard. So with that being said, I'm being very optimistic now, and my chances are growing more now with the whole Heat thing and maybe the West being a little too strong that maybe Melo will go to the Bulls. I'm worried about the Knicks and the Rockets, but maybe Melo will go to the Bulls. They got the right pitches for it, so hopefully it all comes together. Melo likes what he hears. The fact that he gave the Bulls the whole day might be a good sign for Melo on Madison. Okay, it's halftime. We're about to go out of bounds. So on this, I'm going to give it to Mike and let him talk about whatever he wants to talk about. So Mike, in our segment, we call it, Is This Mike On? With Mike Howard. Mike, take it away.
Okay, B, with you, I'm going to play a game. And you got to say, is it real life or a movie? I'm going to give you some quotes, and you just going to throw it out.
So that's all I got to do is just, you tell me quotes, and I just tell you it's real, a movie?
Exactly. First up, are you ready? Before I do any of this.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. First up, show me the money.
Oh, man, come on, man. That's easy. That's a movie, man. That's Jerry Maguire, man. Show me the money. One of my favorite sports movies, by the way. Underrated movie. Obviously, it won an award, but that's one of my favorite movies. Long to the mug, but I like the whole behind the scenes of it.
Okay. Stop talking with you. It's my segment. I do more talking.
Whatever, man.
Okay. So, next one. Let's win one for the Gipper.
That sound like a movie quote, but just because the first one was a movie quote, I'm just going to say that's real.
You're right. It is real, so I'll give you that. All right. Next one. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on earth.
All right, with that one, I'm going to go movie. It sound like a movie. That sound like a movie spell.
Actually, you're wrong. So stop right there because it's actually Babe Ruth's speech. And it's an old speech. You should have known that from watching SportsCenter so much, man, since you're a SportsCenter addict.
Whatever, man. You got another one?
Okay, next one. Who's better than us? Nobody.
Okay, with that one, I'm going to go movie.
Wrong again, Brandon. It's actually real life. Jim Harbaugh said that when they won a game with the 49ers.
Okay. You got any more or is that it?
No. I'll tell you when that's it. It's my segment. You gonna give me my shine, let me get my shine. Alright, next one. They're fast. They're big. They're dirty. Plus, they're really fast.
Okay. I've been on a streak and I'm just gonna say that sound like real life. That just sound like one of them post game rants to me.
Wrong again. That's actually Billy Bob Thornton on Friday Night Lights, the movie.
Man, I struck out 3 times.
Yeah, 3 strikes you out.
Man, let's get back into the quarter. Okay, I sent a question out on Twitter, and I call it my BSing around thing when I just send a question out on Twitter. And I said, will you continue to watch the World Cup now with the U.S. now officially eliminated? And I got some responses. One person said, of course, because me watching the World Cup now got me more in tune in soccer. Okay, fair. One person said, no, I was USing out. That was the only time I watched World Cup. Okay. Another person tweeted me back and said, no, I won't watch. I barely watch soccer as it is, but because ESPN threw it in my face so much, I was forced to watch it. And then another person said, no ESPN first take, so I guess I watched the World Cup. Now with US out, maybe they'll bring back ESPN's first take. I'm going to be honest. My question is, I wasn't really watching it as much. I wasn't even watching it when USA won. Like, I didn't want to be one of them bandwagon jumpers. I mean, don't get it twisted. I was going to root. I'm rooting for USA to win it, yeah. I'm rooting for them. Yeah, I would like to see them win it. I like to see soccer get bigger here, and I feel like soccer, low key, is getting bigger because you see people playing it. I see little kids playing it more. I see it more in urban neighborhoods too. Soccer fields out here in even urban neighborhoods. I live in the Hyde Parkish area. I've seen it. So soccer is definitely out here. And it's actually better probably than football just because if I'm a parent, I would like my kid to rather get in soccer than probably football because I don't want no long-term injuries and I don't want to be paying for that, hospital bill because my kid broke his leg rather than probably won't get too many injuries, maybe bumps and bruises with soccer. So overall, that's my question. Overall, the response I got more here, but the people I'm looking, people are being real honest with me, pretty much saying, no, they won't watch it. Some people was even admitted that they wasn't even watching it that much, and only people was saying, too, that they was only watching when USA was playing. That got them more into soccer, but now with them out, they're not watching it no more. So I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, I did get some people, by the way, that did say they still were watching because they got hooked. So that's why I did read the first one. But overall, a lot of people ain't watching the World Cup no more. So, and I'm pretty sure ESPN ain't going to be talking about the World Cup no more.
Hold on. I disagree with you. And the reason why, I disagree with you because ESPN own the rights of the World Cup. They're going to continue to throw it in your face whether USA's in it or not. Granted, they would like USA to keep advancing so they can keep talking about it. You see it. It's always the lead story.
But see, that's where you're wrong. USA was the lead story of the whole World Cup. But now with them out, I bet you the lead story would not be the World Cup. It would be about NBA free agency. And I bet you on that. Then it would be probably the World Cup. Man, it would probably be even NFL offseason news over the World Cup now. Because people are now just waiting for NFL to start. And they right now tuning in to the World Cup to just help they fix out. And then they're like, ooh, NBA offseason, this is going to just kind of help me out too. People are more intrigued with the NBA offseason here in America, especially here in Chicago with the whole Melo thing. But they're more interested in that right now than the World Cup since, USA is out. Next quarter. It's time for my favorite segment. It's Your Ish. It's when you send me your questions via Twitter at this BS show, and I answer them right here on this segment called Your Ish. Like the first question. At 2463 Hero said, do you think Tiger still got it? I think he still got it to a certain degree. I don't think he's ever going to break records like he used to no more. I think that's done. I really think he's mentally done. And really, he's getting older, so now the injuries are catching up to him. You saw him. He missed a cut at the Congressional. And that's the field that he owns. He's going to have some bad times. He's going to have some good times. You're still going to put him in there. Every time he enters a tournament, you're always going to put him up there as one of the favorites. You're always going to do that. So, yeah, he's still one of the better golfers of today. But I don't think he's ever going to break records like we thought he would have been. So it's kind of woulda, shoulda, coulda when it comes to Tiger Woods. Next one. Bryce Nash said, do you think Bryce Harper, this guy must be a big Bryce Harper fan, by the way, because you got Bryce in the name and then he asked a question about Bryce Harper. Do you think Bryce Harper comments was validated? No, I don't. Bryce Harper's a great player. Yes. But the Nationals only like a game or a game and a half out of first place with new manager Matt Williams under the helm. Bryce Harper said, his comments, by the way, he said that he think the lineup should change. He thinks Ryan Zimmerman should play left field. He thinks he should play center field, which means Denard Span is on the bench. And honestly, you've been hurt, okay? And we've been doing pretty good without you. And you haven't proven enough to us yet to validate that you should be calling out the manager, okay? Just because he sat you down and you don't like the way he's coming at you, look at the records right now. Their team is not out of it. If you go back a year ago from this when they had the other manager and Bryce Harper was all like loving this manager, they wasn't nowhere near first place a year ago. Now they're close. So Bryce Harper, you need to shut your mouth, man. Next one. MLB My Life 4 said, who are some potential trade targets at the trade deadline in the MLB? I got a few. I got a catcher, Kurt Suzuki from the Minnesota Twins. I also have some Sox players, and since I'm here locally, Adam Dunn, Gordon Beckham, Alexi Ramirez, those guys. I also have Jimmy Rollins of the Phillies. They probably want to rebuild. They got a little older players. And pitcher, David Price, probably the biggest name. I know Tampa Bay's probably not going to pay him, so you might as well get something for him rather than nothing. So, yeah, those are my potential trade targets. My BS player of the game goes to Floyd Money Mayweather. And the reason why, he already set his rematch with Madonna on September 13th, I think later this year, which is good. Glad to see that happening. But he's also 2014's highest paid athletes in the world. So it's no question why he calls himself Floyd Money Mayweather. And the reason why, in boxing, he got over 105 million just in 2014. And he's also probably, I think, top 3 or top 5 in the most powerful athletes on the Forbes list. So Floyd Money Mayweather, you are this week's player of the game. My Fuller Bull goes to Brown reps, people coming at Johnny Manziel for telling him to tone it down. Yes, the man parties, but how are you going to draft Johnny Manziel, right? And you know what Johnny Manziel is and what he does. You're going to draft Johnny Manziel and tell him not to be Johnny Manziel? That's what Johnny Manziel does. You telling a person to completely change their whole identity of who they are. He's Johnny Football. He likes to party. He's young. And if you don't like him, you should have never drafted him. Okay? So don't feed me BS and call it sugar grits. Don't pee on my leg and tell me that it's raining. Say that ish for the birds. I want y'all to go on my Tumblr page. That's thefryguyBS.tumblr.com. Go on there. I got the NBA draft report card. See what every team got letter grade wise. Also got the photos of this week. And I got the video of Isaiah Thomas. He's the one who was supposed to be an NBA draft prospect. But before he even started his career, he had to end it because of a medical condition. But Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, did a great job by saying the NBA selects him. And you can see the video there. It's a great video. So go on my Tumblr page, thefryguyBS.tumblr.com. Check it all out. Got a lot of good stuff on there. Also, go on our Twitter page, @ThisBSShow. And you can send us your questions or comments, anything, feedback. We love it all. Send us all to @ThisBSShow on Twitter. We love the feedback. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page. That's just type in This BS Show or This BS Podcast Show. And boom. We go up there, we're there, our channel's there. Subscribe to us, listen to us, give us our views there. And you can also check out our stuff on the Tumblr page too. If you don't want to check it out on YouTube, you can also check it out on the Tumblr page of our podcast show. I want to give out some thanks. I want to thank Angela Lewis, Deborah Washington, Lawrence Holmes, the Game family, Jared Payton, Connor McKnight, NBC and Comcast Sportsnet for helping me out. You guys, the listeners, for tuning in and listening, give me your feedback. Remember, life is a game. So play hard all 4 quarters. This has been another edition of This BS Podcast Show. I'm your host, Brandon Fry, a.k.a. The Fry Guy. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. I'll see you next week, man. Yo, man, you would think 4th of July is already here because I've been hearing firecrackers and it is ridiculous out there. Like, people are just popping them. I heard firecrackers like 4 in the morning. Pop, 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 pop. Woke me up. Crazy. Like, I woke up like crazy. I almost peed on myself. Woke up and oh my God, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's how bad the fireworks was. The joint sounds so close.
Bye-bye. I'm out of here anyway. Peace out.